I want to talk about something that's a little bit painful to recall. There will be no bonuses paid this year. That was a message from my manager at the bank where I worked about 3 years ago. And even though our portfolio was performing well and growing, credit risk review had audited our files and found that not all the documents were where they were supposed to be. And unfortunately, this is a very common problem in banks. We call it document chaos. Document chaos usually shows up in the form of a question or multiple questions. Where are we? Where are we with the deal? Where are we with closing? What else do you need from me? Are we committed? What's the status? The endless email requests for additional information, downloading attachments and renaming them and saving them out on a shared drive somewhere, trying to figure out what you need if a guarantor is added to your deal at the last minute. These are all problems that lenders are very familiar with. And I have to say, quite like asking a borrower that you've been pursuing for some time, could you send me your most sacred, confidential, personal financial information? And they say, what do you mean? I sent that to you last week. Did you lose it? Well, it doesn't have to be this way. The frustration, dysfunction, and delays really erode not only the closing speed, but also the customer relationship, and sometimes relationships inside the bank. For instance, receiving a half-baked credit package. Say I want a $1 million asset-based loan to be approved, and my credit officer looks at the file, spends 45 minutes getting up to speed, and then says, well, I don't have an accounts receivable aging. How can I decision this credit? I go back to the borrower and say, well, I need your AR aging. And they say, what do you mean? I thought you were back with an approval. Bank XYZ across the street's already got it done. So what would a solution be? We've solved the problem at Cirrus, taking those confidential information documents out of email that's not secure, putting it in an encrypted portal that's cloud-based, that facilitates more transparency and standardization both inside and outside the bank. So what we're doing is really taking the intellectual capital of longtime bank employees who know exactly what's needed and when it's needed for each type of loan that the bank is going to produce. And we're putting that into a compliance, a very user-friendly compliance enforcement mechanism where people can quickly see if I have what I need or not. Borrowers can quickly see, do you need anything else or not? And automating tasks that basically nobody really likes to do. We're also creating a venue for extracting business intelligence using machine learning and AI tools. We've got 4 agreements in place with some of the leading AI providers and are just working to unlock some of that power. We've got flexible packaging so that different users get different cuts of the loan file downstream for different use cases. And so here's what we've done as a case study to help the SBA lending department of a large bank out of a regional bank out of Boston called Berkshire. Cirrus historically has served a number of SBA lenders, and we pivoted to automate their intake. And on the first day of PPP, they took in 940 applications, over 2,000 through the course of the program, funding over $500 million. And as you can see, they were thrilled with what we did to serve them. We also were able to bring on some other new customers as well as serve our existing customer base, which includes 5 banks over $5 billion. That's top 250, our largest being Bank of the West. An internal view of the platform shows a very powerful PDF functionality built in, the ability to visualize the status of the package in terms of what's approved and what else is needed. We've got live support and team chat, and we're tracking every click so we know always who's done what with which documents. Users have a personal page that accepts files up to 1 gigabyte. There's a web page for a loan closer who may not have much of a web presence on behalf of the bank, and that page is free of compliance risk. As you can see, we're also helping the borrower with on-screen assistance, and they don't have to keep track of yet another username and password combination. So full mobile functionality, workflow automation, and helping banks double their production by stripping out wasted time and inefficiency from the process while reducing the risk of the loan portfolio as a whole. Our business model includes subscription fees for the licensed users, placement fees when we are able to place loans with a spread on a spread basis. As you can see, we've had some strong growth here, more than doubling our revenue last year. We're looking for additional growth this year, and really building out an ecosystem using standardization and consistency. The software is by lenders for lenders. My CTO, Brian, and I were pushing out code at 2 in the morning back in 1998. Went to college together, met the first day of school, played rock and roll music together. And there's just a tremendous amount of trust. Our client success leader, Nick Reed, has built a tremendous net promoter score based on excellent service and also has banking experience. He's been with us for several years. And you know, the proof of the pudding is in the eating of it, as they say. And so you can see some accolades from folks who are happy customers, doubling their production and stripping out wasted time so they can do what they do best. We're out with a capital raise soon. Please contact us if you have interest in learning more. Thank you so much.